wait, stop. He sells on the Pacers that he's talked hype about all season, and then buys the 76ers that we have trashed all season.
They still got Danilo Gallinari, who can just light the lamp from three-point. And then Steven Adams, yeah, he's no Bam Adebayo, but let's not talk about him like he's some slouch to forget about.
That are starting to become big-time free agents, granted, but in their childhoods, in the early 2000s, were the Knicks ever good? No. Welcome back, Dribbling Around, Episode 7. Jaden Becker, Connor Glenn, Dane Richardson. Another fantastic show headed your way here for Episode 7. We have another interview with Ithaca women's basketball star Grace Cannon. You're not going to want to miss that later in the show. Talking some more NBA news. The Brooklyn Nets not doing so hot. Dwight Howard's returning to play. We're going to talk about that. And Bleacher Report's list for the top 100 players. Connor's got some smoke coming their way, as well as some TBT picks to win it. Like I said, starting off, we're going to start off with the Brooklyn Nets. They signed Jamal Crawford to a deal to come to their bubble in Orlando. Spencer Dinwiddie's not playing. Everything's really going downhill. Obviously, we never thought this team would really win a first-round series, but what does this mean for Brooklyn, guys?
It means they're soft. I know it might be a tough way to put it, and, you just look at all these players that are missing. Where's Kyrie? I understand KD wasn't there all season. Kyrie Irving, I understand he's doing the social justice stuff, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play in the bubble and stuff like that. And just look at the team that is not going to be playing for the Brooklyn. Like, do they even want to play? Do they even want to be in Brooklyn? That's my question. You look at the team that's not playing, and it would smoke the team that is playing. And, yeah, they did make some pickups, but at the same time, what's the point? What's the point? You might as well just mail it in.
Connor, before you go, Jaden, I wouldn't say soft because these are – listen, if you have a family issue, if you have a health issue, these are reasonable –
But look at every other team.
Stay out of the bubble.
Look at every other team.
But if you look at it, if you're
the only team,
you don't have a chance to win a championship. You already know Kyrie and KD are sitting out. Who are you going to play in the first-round series? Toronto and Pascal Siakam's going to drop 30 on you and sweep you 4 games straight?
Throw in the towel and don't even bother?
Exactly. It changes my whole perspective on the Brooklyn Nets.
No. Throw in the towel and don't even bother.
I'm just going to quit while I'm ahead.
Connor.
Not even put myself in the position.
I understand both of your points. But if you look at
I understand what you're saying.
You don't have a chance, really, to win a championship. You don't have a chance at all to win a championship.
I wouldn't even look at it from that angle. If you're going to defend people by not going, all you can literally just say is, hey, there's a pandemic going on.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to next.
Yeah.
If you don't have a chance to win it, then why take the risk of putting other people
every other team in the league.
So that, like, hey, I don't have a chance to win. I'm just not going to play. Also, there's this going around. Like, no. If you're just going to, like, if you're planning on not playing, just say, I don't want to put myself or others at risk. That's all you need. But it is, to James' point, soft. If you come out and say, yeah, we're the 8th seed, we're not going to make it past the first round. If even that.
Are they saying that, though?
That's sort of how it feels with how everything's going on with them, because you just look at the team and you just look at every other team in the league, and even the teams that are in the West and that are outside and have a chance of making it into the playoffs. It's not like, oh, we have no chance of making it, I'm not even going to go. And why is it Brooklyn? Why is it the Nets?
I think you're putting too much heat on these guys, because this is we don't even know if this bubble is going to work out, because all of a sudden it probably will. It could. Don't get me wrong, but it also couldn't. So if this doesn't work out, then we look back and we say, oh yeah, all those players in the Brooklyn Nets, they look smart now.
I don't think they look smart. Why would they look smart? The smart
If the bubble doesn't work out, yes, they would.
No, I think they just still look weak. They didn't even give it a shot. They just surrendered. That's how I see it. So
what shot were they going to get?
That shot at least playing and giving the Lakers
they're still going to play. The Lakers?
Yeah, they're still going to play, but with their pretty much their G League team. That's what it looks like. It's a sad
Good
game.
news is we get to see Jamal Crawford again.
Very true.
No, I'm not pissed about that. I'm pissed, not because I don't want to see Jamal Crawford play. But we've been clamoring all year. Someone needs to sign Jamal Crawford. And then out of all teams, out of all times, it's the Nets in this scenario. Like, we don't want to see Jamal Crawford go to the bubble and just play 8 games and that's that. And then get swept in the playoffs by whoever they play. We want to see Jamal Crawford play meaningful minutes on a meaningful team because we know he still has gas left in the tank.
You know who else has gas left in the tank? Joe Johnson. Plays for Overseas Elite and TBT. I watched that ISO Joe. I mean, an NBA team should have thought about picking him up. He probably won't be. Enough talking about the Nets because we know they're not going to go anywhere, and I have different opinions from you guys. But to a team that is contending, Dwight Howard is deciding to play, which is huge for the Lakers. But he's going to donate all his playing money, I believe, to social justice reform, which is a great cause, of course. But as a Lakers fan, I am psyched for this because the Lakers, again, they led the league in block shots. I get they have Anthony Davis, really that core of their core for them defensively. They have JaVale McGee, but Dwight Howard's that extra guy off the bench who's been fantastic for them. He plays a great role. So how big is this for the Lakers that Dwight Howard is saying he is going to play in the bubble?
I think it plays more of a role in the rounds leading up to the conference finals because in case you run into a team like a Utah or a Denver, you just have that extra depth to play against like a Jokic or just big guys in general. Whereas like the Clippers, yeah, they don't really have those bona fide studs at the 5 or the 4 really per se. So I think Howard definitely provides them great depth. It's just they'll be able to take more advantage of that earlier in the playoff structure than maybe the last 2 rounds if they make it that far.
Yeah, I agree with you there. 100% a great piece to make sure that's with you on this Lakers run, and talk about rebounding. It's so important, and he's just been able to do that. If that's his job, to go out there, be a great defender, be a rim protector, and grab boards, he's been able to do that nonstop. Maybe it might not be the Dwight Howard of yesteryear, of when he was able to jump over someone's head and kill somebody with his dunks and be Superman. Maybe that's just not his game anymore, but if he can grab these boards and be exactly what he needs to be for the Lakers, which is a rim protector, and be a number 2 next to Anthony Davis in that type of dynamic of grabbing boards and being great defenders, he couldn't pick anyone better. Honestly, couldn't really pick anyone better. And look what he did. Freaking gave his contract to social justice reform, still using his platform for a great cause, but not sitting out. Because there's no point. What are you going to do on the sideline? I know I'm still talking about the damn Nets, but it pisses me off because look what they're doing. They're just sitting out, not even getting paid, not doing anything, and just throwing in the towel. Dwight Howard's using his platform going forward, being an advocate, and it's really showing. It's really showing for him.
In the Nets' defense, though, I think there was 2 players that were announced tested positive, wasn't it? I know Dinwiddie was one.
Yep, he tested positive twice.
Wasn't Prince the second?
I think so.
And he's like still a meaningful player. Like he's either like a starter or like a 6th, 7th man for that rotation. So it's like, I don't fault all of the Nets for not going because some of them would have excuses. So, I mean, let's not like rush to judgment with these Nets, you know?
And Dwight Howard, again, has the opportunity to win his first ever championship through all those teams in his career. I get he made the finals one time with Orlando, but he ran into Kobe and Pau Gasol, and there's no way in hell they were ever going to win that series. So differing reasons, and we're not going to talk about the Nets much, but I mentioned earlier, and we're going to get away from Dwight Howard as well. I mentioned earlier in the show, we had an interview with Ithaca women's basketball star, rising senior Grace Cannon. Another fantastic interview. Without further ado, let's kick it over to that.
Welcome back to Dribbling Around. We have special guests on the call with us. Icy women's basketball player Grace Cannon. She's a guard at Ithaca College, ready to take on all comers in her senior campaign. She might have been overlooked by the Liberty League last season, but now is her time to shine as the leader of this team. Grace, how you doing today?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And, I have to ask you this question, and it's been running through our minds, and we've seen the play multiple times, but how many times have you rewatched that buzzer beater to win the championship? Like, has it gone through your mind? Like, what's your thought process on that?
Yeah, definitely a couple times, maybe more than I would like to admit. But sitting at home in quarantine, like missing my teammates, I've watched like not just that play, but like a lot of games we all have. But it definitely find myself rewatching that a couple of times, just seeing us all like celebrate and being so happy when I was just like sitting at home doing nothing. So yeah, it's just really a good thing to like look back on and like have that memory forever.
Grace, I got to ask you, when the shot went off your hand, you can be honest, did you think it was going in or no?
It had a weird feeling, like, yes. And then it started bouncing around and I was just like, why do I think this is going to go in?
Yeah.
I don't really, and then I'm just like, and then like running back, I'm like, that actually went in. Like that went in.
I got to say, I was over on the side in TV with ICTV, and I think I was clotheslined by one of my producers. Like, we're supposed to be neutral, and I just went nuts. And then all of a sudden, we're about to go on air because the game's over, and I just get clotheslined back. I don't think there's a picture of it, but that's a fun memory I remember from your shot.
Speaking of pictures, are there any photos of that, either the celebration or the shot itself, just kind of like hanging up around either your dorm whenever you were back at college or back home?
Yeah, we have a couple of them. There's one that's like really funny. Like the girls are running towards me and I'm just kind of like blank face, like so shocked. And then you see like Coach MK and Coach Dan doing the exact same motion. They're both like, yes. Like, that's all they're doing. Like they're just like not like, especially I feel like from last year and all of the buzzer beaters we had, he's like not surprised anymore. So he's just like, cool. So then, but that one's really funny. We shared it and like sent all the pictures around.
Backing up a little bit, we know you've obviously had a great career at Ithaca, but what made you decide to want to come to Ithaca? Was it a coach? Was it some of the players? What was it that said, hey, Ithaca is going to be my home for the next 4 years?
I actually decided like on my overnight.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like meeting the players, the coach, and just the environment of Ithaca. That's like what we tell all of the recruits is that like once you come, you get it. You get like the appeal of Ithaca. And I was just like struggling to find like the exact place that felt like home and felt like where I wanted to be and like checked off all of the boxes. And then once I left that, I was like, I'm coming here. Like, I don't need to see anyone else. I don't need to like keep the recruiting process going. I knew I had found my like home and exactly like the perfect blend between like student and athlete, especially like the Park School and everything that has to offer. And I think I've even been like pleasantly surprised of how much like I've loved Ithaca College. And I'm just like really happy to be here.
Clearly that decision worked out. Now you do lose a lot of big pieces going into next year. You lose Kellyanne O'Reilly and you lose Cassidy O'Malley. How do you plan to fill those voids? I know you're probably going to step up as a leader, but how do you fill that void moving into next season?
Yeah, I think definitely missing those two key scorers, it'll give a lot of our younger players an opportunity to step up. And I think it'll be more of a collective team and like definitely a team effort. I don't think it'll be like the same one or two people producing every night. I think there'll be other nights where like we have freshmen or sophomore like having big nights, and there's always someone that could hurt us with such a talented group. And I think our coach is a very good recruiter, and he plans ahead. I knew he like knew what was going to happen and that losing those people, but I know he's like got a good plan, and I'm very confident going into the year. I think we have a lot of good young talent.
So you said in the middle of last year that you were becoming more and more comfortable being a leader for the team and holding your teammates accountable. Are you really ready and prepared to take the reins as the true leader of this team and step up next year?
Yeah, I actually think I do. Like, I think I've really matured this past year, and especially sophomore year. I think just coming into a new role and having to be a leader as an underclassman. And I always tried to like lead by example and just work really hard and like show my teammates how we do it as Ithaca women's basketball players. My coach will tell you, Raymond will always just say like, you just got to talk, like, you know what you want to say, and like you do the things that you should do, like just tell them. And because I just love to be like really relaxed and someone that like younger people could come to. And he's like, yeah, just do it to everyone. Just like, Grace, you know exactly what to say, so just say it more. But that's definitely something, as I've matured and like become more comfortable on the court, I've definitely been able to be comfortable more off the court and just like engaging in that leadership role with my teammates. So I'm really excited to be a senior, even though it's a scary word.
It is a scary word, but it sounds fun because you're really at the top of your game, and this is where you're really going to show yourself. But now the big question here and this is looking at the whole team, is it Liberty League or bust? Is it Liberty League champions or bust? Is that how you guys are looking in coming into this season?
I don't think my coach would want me to say or bust, but yeah, we are very confident in our team, and we come in every year looking to win the championship and make it further than we did the previous year and previous years, like just always getting better. Our mantra last year was to take the next step. And I think we will continue that same idea. Like, we can always get better. We're always going to need to push ourselves because people are gunning for us. They see that we're back-to-back and we want to do the three-peat. We want to keep winning. And just knowing that, like, people are going to improve their game to beat us, especially in the Liberty League, especially coming in and two out of the 3 years winning that the Liberty League title. I just know that, like, we need to keep improving. But yeah, I'm very confident, like, we will be successful.
So now looking at the conference for next year, who do you guys think are your biggest threat or threats for your title defense?
I think St. Lawrence will be a big opponent for us. We did drop to them away. Playing in St. Lawrence is a very difficult road trip. That, like, 4.5 hours really gets you on a Friday night. And they have a lot of bigger posts, and I think with the loss of Cassie O'Malley, that'll be something that we really need to focus on and, like, bettering our younger posts.
I remember when you guys played St. Lawrence at home, you really got revenge. In that first quarter, like midway through the second quarter, you were beating them like by over 20 already. That was an awesome game for you guys.
Yeah, it was an awesome game for you guys. And off the court, you know, we've seen you wear a boot around, and I know that might be a little, I don't want to talk about it, but every time we see you off this court, you're wearing this boot, and I'm like, are you hurt? What's going on? We need you for this game. What's going on? So are you fully healed? How are you feeling? And is that going to be shown next season, or was that just during last season?
Yeah, I had a stress fracture in my fibula. It developed in mid-January, so around winter break when no one else is on campus, so I was able to wear the boot and, like, no one really knew. But it was just like a developed injury. I guess quarantine was like a blessing in disguise. I wasn't gonna do much and, like, really needed to just rest after the season, but it is fully healed now, and I think just going into next season being more aware of it. I've never really had an injury as terms of, like, having to wear a boot, and the boot kind of didn't. It was like always throw people off because I would
threw a lot
play
off
well.
myself.
We would win, and then, like, Grace go back in the boot. Like, it was painful, but I knew that, like, I could play through it. It was more of just a precautionary thing to not make it worse. My coach MK, she actually had the same exact injury her junior year at Ithaca, so she really helped me in, like, keeping me healthy and just, like, making sure I was ready for game day, but also still preparing through the practices without, like, injuring myself in practice further. But yes, fully healed, getting back into, like, running and working out, and I'm very confident that I will be back without the boot, hopefully. But it was always just a precautionary thing and not wanting to further injure it. But it didn't make any sense. Like, it would just throw people off.
Yeah, but it's a true testament to your dedication, because some people might have sat out and said, hey, like, I want to, because it's a risk. Of course, you could always injure yourself again, but that's really a true testament to the dedication to the team. Speaking about the team, and when you're headed to road games and stuff like that, who's your bus buddy? Who are you sitting next to on the bus? Who are you sharing snacks with? Who are you talking to before the game? Take us through that.
I actually sit all the way in the last seat on the back of the bus. I've sat there since, like, the first day, freshman year. Back then, I would sit with, like, old alumni, Allie Tunick and Sarah Jackson, and hanging out with them. And now I sit with freshmen, Natalie Smith and Cameron Coffey. There's not really a desired person I talk to. Like, my coach will attest, I kind of just, like, talk to everyone. I talk to whoever will listen. And that's Cass and I usually will, like, discuss music. There's no, like, well, who I sit with on the bus when we travel with the men, we have to share, because because it gets all crowded with 40 very tall human beings on the bus. I sit with Kara, and there's always a constant switch around with like who gets the window seat and who gets the aisle seat. But definitely there's not like a specific person I talk to. Lindsay Albertelli always braids my hair before games. That's definitely like a tradition that we have. So just that's one thing I really love about the team is like everyone is really open with everyone. I think you can see that off the court and on the court, and like the chemistry that we really have. And especially when it's the middle of January and no one else is on campus, like at least you're surrounded by people you genuinely enjoy. And I've just noticed that, like I noticed that on my recruiting visit coming to Ithaca, that they seem to really genuinely enjoy each other, and I'm glad I was correct.
Stepping outside of basketball a little bit, what are some other things you like to do, Grace?
I actually run the social media for our basketball team. So
really?
It's kind of not outside of basketball, but it's still like what I want to do. I'm a sports media major with a IMC minor and a marketing business minor. But yeah, that's definitely like the social media and like running that. I've been running it since the end of my freshman year. So just like having that extra involvement with the team is something I've really enjoyed, and getting to connect more on the coaches and more of like a not business standpoint because it's social media, but like kind of in like a more professional experience and more just like student to coach or athlete to coach. But yeah, that's definitely something I really enjoy. I'm a big I love going to the beach. I'm from the Jersey Shore, so love the beach. I'm a big online shopper, which like especially during quarantine is not the best habit to have. But yeah, I really love like being around people. I'm a very social person, and just like anything to do with like other people I love. Like hiking. I'm in Ithaca for the summer, so I'm definitely taking advantage of the scenery and really absorbing my last Ithaca summer.
Now, you said that you run the basketball social page. Have you ever just like mid-game done something and you think to yourself like, man, if I really post this highlight, it's going to pop off or something like that?
Yeah. Oh, one time in class, this is so bad. Probably one of my embarrassing moments after the Liberty League championship. I had to post like the next day the stuff like going on, like that we won, the shot, like all of the edits that like Peter Rader and ICTV did. And I was like, in class, shouldn't have been doing this in class, but I was like, oh my God, like we were going to watch the NCAA like selection show. So I was like, I have to post this before we do the selection show because it has to be in the right order. And the video of me making that shot accidentally plays in class. And it's like, cannon for the win. Out loud. This class is silent. And I know the professor. It's my professor, Tim Marabito. And I've had him for 3 years. And I knew he was going to make fun of me. I knew he was going to make a scene. And he was like, oh, Grace, like watching your own highlights. And I was like, oh my God. It was so embarrassing. I was like beat red. I was just like, no, like it's not what happened. But I was just like, oh well, like what are you gonna do?
We all loved Tim. We had him freshman year, and that's how we all know each other.
Yeah.
So that's hilarious. I might have to talk to him about that because that's something right there.
Yeah.
No, since it's been quarantine, have you been able to just binge any shows? Like, are you Outer Banks, Ozark, any of those?
Yeah, I did. I went through the Outer Banks phase. I think I watched that show in like 4 days. What was it? All American. I was a big fan. Dexter. There's a lot of shows I got through. I'm trying to think. I almost started Degrassi, like the entire thing, and then I started it, and I was like, this acting is really bad, and I couldn't do it. And then this like guilty pleasure, like you guys will not know it. You guys know the show. I would be very surprised, but it's called Vanderpump Rules, and it's like on Bravo TV. Like your moms might watch it. But it's just like that reality TV drama, and like there's 8 seasons, and I think I watched that in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Back to Outer Banks, are you a kook or a pogue?
I would like to say pogue, but I'm not. I think a 50-50, depending on the day.
So when you're a kid and you're watching TV shows, right? Turn on the cable. What are you putting on? You put it on Disney? You put it on Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network? These are important questions. Like this is like a defining factor of what makes somebody somebody. Now, I was a Nick person, so what did you watch?
Yeah, I actually had 2 older siblings, so
Mhm.
I don't think it was my choice. But we were watching. I did love Drake and Josh. I wasn't a big like SpongeBob person to like
That's okay.
admit, but like I did also love like the Hannah Montana, like the Disney. I was both, but
Okay.
mostly it was like ESPN was playing and I was waiting for my brother to turn it off, or I was waiting for my brother to like leave so I could change the channel.
I think Nickelodeon, I was a big Drake and Josh fan as well. Of course, there's iCarly, Victorious, those other shows. But I think they're going to do like a Zoe 101 reboot soon to like see where some of them are. That was a show when I watched when I was like 7 or 8. You probably a little bit older, but that was a real good show. I think that people could go back to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved Zoe 101, especially, and there was one, Unfabulous was one of my like favorite shows. She would like sing with the guitar. And, it was definitely only like 2 seasons or something, but I think I've seen every single episode.
Walk us through your pregame routine. You get into the locker room. Is there something specific that you do? Is there a pregame meal? You talked about the hair braiding, but is there any superstitions, playlist you like to listen to? Walk us through right before you step on the court, 30 minutes before. What's going through your head, and how do you get yourself ready?
My teammates will probably say I eat anything, like genuinely anything before a game. One time before we played Cortland this past year at the season opener, I had cheese puffs.
Cheese puffs.
Cheese puffs.
Meal of champions.
Yeah, exactly. My coach always just doesn't get. He's just like, why? Like, we'll stop at one time we stopped at like a rest stop for people to go to the bathroom, like freshman year, and I was like, Coach, like, can I get a McDonald's? And he was like, Grace, yes, you can. Just like shoot well. And then I shot well, and now I can have McDonald's. But yeah, there's definitely more superstitious people on my team than me. I kind of run in like right when like we got to be there. I put my shorts on. I came earlier a lot this year to get treatment for my shin. I definitely go in there, AT room. We would Normatec, which is actually really good. I'm a sports media major, so like stuff like I don't know, but my whole team would be in there. We're big training room junkies, but we would all be in there and definitely just like Normateching with my teammates and hanging out. I'm a big rap fan before a game, a big Pop Smoke fan. We did love to listen to Pop
You're speaking to the queens in me right now. That's very good.
Yeah, we did love to listen to like Pop Smoke before the game, definitely. Cass and I would always like be on the aux cord and like just share different songs. But yeah, just like there's always these team traditions. I personally just don't have like many. Definitely getting my hair braided. I think I couldn't one time and I did not play well. So we definitely always braid the hair. And there's a bunch of just like all meeting together and like we yell coming up the stairwell and like all the different like handshakes and like high fives we all have with each other. But yeah, definitely not a superstitious person. But I know Cass O'Malley would always get like she'd go to Dolce the day before or the morning before a game. So like if you need that's one.
I recorded outside like the previous 3 episodes and nothing had happened. And now I just look like an idiot with the whole stupid noise going off. Sorry for the change of locations, but continuing with the questions, Grace. You just mentioned some of the artists you like to listen to. Who's your go-to artist? I know you mentioned Pop Smoke, but if you had to go with one artist, who would you go with?
As of recently or the past like year and a half, I'm a big Ian Dior fan.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, I really don't have a set like music taste. I kind of just listen to what's popular. I wish I did. I wish I was really into music, but I like it. I just never the one to like know that a song's coming out and like make it. Oh, Juice WRLD too. I really do like Juice WRLD.
Oh, do you like the new album that just came out?
Yeah, it's a long one.
It is. Yeah.
But
I would say the latter half is a little bit better than the beginning, but that's just my opinion.
I would agree. I got to I was listening to it with a friend, and we got into like song like 13. We were like, finally, like a really good song. But yeah, I think the bottom half is better.
It's a little weird to hear Dane talking about rap, but it's okay, Mr. Country Kid over there.
I mean, I'm a huge country fan too, so I'm not really into rappers. The only reason why I think I listened to that album was I was in a friend's car the other night, and he's a big Juice WRLD fan.
Yeah.
So.
No, so going back to Ithaca basketball, you obviously are losing 2 key seniors. What's the incoming freshman class looking like, and how do you plan on using those freshmen to kind of help you build around the future, but also plug the holes and help you next year?
Mm-hmm. We have 3 freshmen coming in. I don't know a lot about them, but I've definitely met them, and I'm like they seem to like very much fit the idea of what we want to do. And I just think that with those 3 new additions and having our freshmen that were now the sophomores that are now freshmen, everyone just like moving up and stepping up into those roles, I think we'll have some surprises with the people coming in, the people like moving up in the team. And I think especially like Kara Volpe had a really big year this year, and I think that we can expect even more from her next year.
Even though you're in quarantine, oh, you got it, Dave.
So you talked about working on your game, how you're going to be a leader this year. What parts of your game are you specifically working on? Is it shooting? Is it rebounding, defense? What parts are you looking to improve on in your senior year?
Definitely my 3-point range. I was actually a huge 3-point shooter in high school when I played like more of a guard. But this year I think they want to move me out to more of a guard position again. I was actually a point guard in high school. But with just like the how it's worked out the past couple of years, I've gotten moved to that like 4 spot, and I think they want to move me more of a guard. So just like keep bettering my guard skills and always rebounding. Like I've found ways to rebound for my teammates and rebound for them while I'm doing that and working on my own rebounding. But that's definitely been something I've improved since coming to college. I wasn't a huge rebounder in high school, but especially this past year, it's something I've really taken pride in and enjoy. I honestly love rebounding. I think it's so fun.
Mm-hmm. We're going to mention that a little bit later in the show. We're going to give you some trivia on your rebounding. You did pretty awesome last year in that department. Sticking with you on the court, if you had a go-to move, 1v1, something like that, what's your go-to move? Is it a spin, in and out, something like that, hesitation? What do you like to do?
I can like I don't know what it's like I'm a really bad like terminology basketball player. Like the thing where you like shoot it out, like you go like this and take it back. It's like a sham rock.
Sham God.
Sham God.
That thing.
Wow.
That's
all right. I like that's a move right there.
That's a bold move.
Yeah,
Great.
that to a crossover. I think in high school I love the in and out, just the in and out too. But like the in and out to that what that is called.
All right,
that's an ankle breaker right there. That's a soul taker. You kill people with that one.
You're talking about that move. We want to see it. We want to see you break it out in a game next year. All right, we want to see you break some ankles with the sham god and the crossover. Yes. And trust me, we'll go nuts if we see it.
Now, everyone who's been to a home game probably can pick out your dad in the stands.
Oh my God!
What's the earliest
it's
memory
a good thing.
you have of your dad cheering you on? Because we all know how passionate he is about you. You're playing in the Ithaca Bombers women's basketball team. What's the earliest memory you have of your dad just cheering you on?
Wait, I didn't know that other people knew this. I thought it was just like the fans that like knew he was so. My dad was my coach. So basically, like, my dad was my coach. My dad coached my older sister, and I would go to the practices in, like, 1st grade and practice with, like, the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And, yeah, he's actually calmed down, I think. It's hard to believe, but he's calmed down for, like, me. He's not coaching me anymore. He's more just, like, badgering the refs now.
Yeah, we've seen some awesome moments. Remember when he gets tossed from the game, and now he's up with us in the catwalk, watching the game up there. Yeah. So maybe the most dedicated fan, and I think
Yeah.
that's just awesome. That is
He has
just
a
so
seat.
cool.
He has the seat he sits in, and he has to sit there. And in high school, my parents would not sit together because of the yelling. But now they sit together and they have seats together. And literally, like, the other parents will be like, "Oh, like, someone's in your seat," like, and they'll like whisper about it, and then like try to make them move. And like, it's just the parent section in general, I've never seen like it. But yeah, that's my dad. I know he's doing it out of love and like my biggest supporter ever. And I think he'll be more sad on senior night than I would be. So I'm just waiting for that. And but yeah, what a guy.
We mentioned we're gonna give you some trivia. We do a segment on our show called Jaden's Jump Ball. We're gonna give you 3 trivia questions. They're geared toward you, so they're about your stats, what you've done in your 3 years at Ithaca. So Jaden, give it.
So, listen, we're gonna try to help you out here as much as possible. These are geared towards you, so these are all. Just think about what you've done in your career, and it's gonna help you a long way. So I'm gonna start off. It might be easy, might be a hard one. Depends on how much you look at your stats, right? So, not only can you do stuff on the offensive side of the ball and be great shooting wise, but you've also been a dominant force on the glass, as you like to talk about. You love to rebound. You led the team in offensive rebounds this season, but how many did you get?
We'll give you a range. So if you get it
you
within
range,
like
so
5.
give or take, give or take like 5.
Like over 100. I don't want to go over.
Offensive rebounds.
Offensive rebounds. Okay. Like 50?
He had 69 offensive rebounds, which is that's insane in my head because they have you down as a guard, right? But you play like a forward, right? Yeah. And you like I just want to ask you this question: is rebounding for you? You mentioned it's fun, but is it right place, right time, where you're just grabbing these boards and it falls into your lap, or are you pushing bodies down low in the paint? Is that how it is for you? Like you like to push people?
Yeah, I'm. I think more just like watching where it goes. Like you kind of like get like in an instinct, almost like where it goes. But MK doesn't make a joke. She'll never call me scrawny because I do strip them of the rebounds away from bigger girls than me. But that's definitely just something I've focused on, like really wanted to emphasize, especially going in as a sophomore. Just like it's another possession, it's another way to score without having to have someone pass to you, and it's just hard work. And like really just being able to tell where the ball is going, and it becomes fun. Like because the fact that how frustrating it is for the other team when you get an offensive rebound. I think I like thrive on that. I'm like giggling. I'm like, ha ha ha, we got another one. Like, and then like there'll be possessions where it's just like another one and like another one, and then like we finally score off like the second or third offensive rebound, and the team's just like so like that just like takes the air out of the opponent. And I think that's something that like we all like thrive off of. But yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm not math. I'm not a math. Sports media. So.
I feel this next one's going to be very mathy, so maybe this is going to be a tough one. But like, surprisingly, you beat O'Malley when it comes to offensive boards. And speaking of O'Malley, you two were just a dynamic duo last season. Like you two were just the 2 cornerstones of the team. Obviously, you had a lot of help around you, but when you looked at the Ithaca women's team, you just looked at you two and it's like, all right, these are the 2 cornerstones that are going to help this team push into the future in that playoff run. You guys played 3 years together, right? Do you know how many points you guys combined for together through your 3 years? It's up there. It's up there.
For her, it has to be like insane.
She has a lot, but you have a lot too because you played very well sophomore and junior year. Yeah, those 3 years, yeah.
Fun fact, we also played AAU basketball together. So I've known her since we were like 14. Yeah, if you didn't know.
So now the chemistry is just through. Now we can really understand why that chemistry is just crazy. Yeah.
Oh my god. How many did she? Oh my freaking.
It's up there.
1,500? I have no idea. Higher?
A little higher.
Than 2,000.
It's over 2,000.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
2,356.
2,278, but just
Within
think
100.
about that.
That was
yeah, I
pretty
know
close.
it's tough. It's not it's
Count
close, but think about that. Yeah, you two together were just a
How did you figure that
dynamic
out?
duo.
Just added them.
You just add the numbers. We do our research here, dribbling around. And speaking of research, we went back a little bit. And you went to Bloomfield High School in New Jersey,
Yeah.
and that senior season you played really, really well. And so did the team. You guys didn't go that far in the playoffs, but you guys still played well. Can you tell me, this is testing your memory here, so maybe this isn't math, this is memory. Can you tell me your overall record from your senior season, including the playoffs?
Were we like 20-4 or 9?
Very close. You're very close.
21-5?
19-5. 19-5.
Yeah,
Very close.
I don't think we ever did 20 wins. 19.
Yeah, but look, I was looking through your stat line from your senior year. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going crazy. It's like 28, 28, 29, 20, 23, 24. It's like, oh my goodness.
Never got 30. I've never scored 30 points in a high school game.
Okay, I was gonna say, I think the regular season against Vassar, you got over 30. Was that your first time getting over 30?
Yes, and it was like I would get 29 all of the time in high school. And in high school, at least now they have like those boards, or like you could tell more what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And high school, you had to wait to the end of the game and just be like 29. And I'm just like, really? Are we kidding? But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got for trivia, and we're going to go on to one last final question. But you did a good job. I gave you some tough ones with math-wise, but, looking back from the high school days and what you come to now going into your senior season, it's really impressive how much you've grown as a player. And you talked about the rebounding. That is just such a huge part of it.
Now, the final question, Grace. You were overlooked last season in terms of our opinion, and I'm sure a lot of your teammates' opinion, in terms of individual awards at the end of the season. Now you're stepping up your senior year at both ends of the court. Is first team All Liberty League or Liberty League Player of the Year an individual accolade that you have your eye on?
Yeah, definitely. I think in the moment it was definitely disappointing, but I had to think big picture in terms of like we were going to the NCAA tournament and we had just won Liberty Leagues on a buzzer beater that I made. So I was definitely riding a bit of a high, and then finding that out, I was more just like surprised. I was just like, oh, okay. But I think I've talked to MK and Coach Raymond about it, and I think it just like lighted a fire under me, and just like almost to prove him wrong and to like not give the Liberty League or like anyone a question of that I should be first team or I could be player of the year. And I think just knowing that and like having that extra motivation, it will really help me this year. And I think those are definitely things I could accomplish.
Grace, thank you so much. You have been an awesome guest, and we're going to wish you the best of luck in your senior season. We're ready to see you ball out. We want to see the sham guy. We want to see the ankle breakers. We want to see the buzzer beaters. You've been able to do it all, and we'd like to say thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Dribblin Around, and also give Grace a follow while you're at it. We'll plug your Instagram, all that stuff in the graphics we have on our screen. If you'd like to give us a subscribe and drop a comment on who we should try to get next on the show. We've been able to get a couple great Ithaca players. We even got a fun one coming up. So get ready for that one. Let's jump back into the show. We got plenty to talk about right here on Dribbling Around.
Guys, couldn't have been a better interview. Hopefully Grace plays her senior season. Again, what did you guys think? She was awesome.
Superstar. I told you, I can't wait to see those handles. It's going to come. It's going to be big. Sham God. Watch out for it.
Yeah, great talking to her. Hopefully she'll be able to follow up that buzzer beater with another Liberty League championship. So.
Tune in to Dribbling Around social media. We may have another big interview coming later this week, so make sure you keep listening in. Instagram, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, of course. Again, switching back to the NBA, Bleacher Report came out with their list of the top 100 players. Now, there were injury exemptions, so you didn't see a Steph Curry, you didn't see a Kevin Durant, etc. But there was a lot of heat given to them, and Connor's going to give them a lot of smoke. Some notable ones that a lot of people disputed. Chris Middleton at 10, and Russell Westbrook, one of Connor's favorite players, even though he's with Houston now, at number 22. So, Connor, I'm going to start with you. You had a lot of problems with this one. I remember you talking about this at the start of the show. Let's hear it.
I tried to not give this much energy to this list because I hate how everyone's favorite hobby in the offseason is just to get irrationally upset at lists. But there was not one point guard better than Russell Westbrook all year. Dame Lillard had a good stretch, but Westbrook was – and I'm not counting Luka as a point guard. Russell Westbrook is easily a top 10 player this year. There is no way that there were 12 players between Chris Middleton and Russell Westbrook, but Chris Middleton was the better of those two. You mean that Ben Simmons, Kyle Lowry, Paul George wasn't even an all-star this year, and he's at 16. Westbrook is probably having the most efficient season of his career, and one of the best. Now, it's not up there just because he's not pumping triple-doubles left and right, but arguably this is the best basketball Westbrook's played in a long time because he's really cut down on the inefficiency. He's cut down on his warts that everyone pointed at in OKC and said, hey, he's holding you guys back from even making it past the first round. Those aspects are gone out of his game. And somehow he's 22. Like, he was carrying Houston for most of the year. Not most, because Harden had a rough stretch where it easily could have went south for that Rockets team. And maybe, they're talking about blowing everything up. But I don't understand how someone could watch Kyle Lowry and say, you know what? I want him over Russell.
Even Kyrie. The thing is, Paul George wasn't an all-star this year because he was hurt. Kyrie was hurt most of the year.
Oh, Paul George wasn't an all-star this year because he wasn't playing that good.
I know. But at the same time, you had those injury exemptions, yet you put both Kyrie and PG ahead of Russell Westbrook, who you mentioned has been so good. A lot of people gave a lot of hate for Chris Middleton at 10. Listen, Chris Middleton, I'm not hating on Chris Middleton. He was a top 15 player this year with Giannis. Giannis helps his game out so much. But Chris Middleton was absolutely fantastic this year, so I don't think he deserves as much hate. But I think Russell Westbrook should have been in the top 10.
No, it's not much. This hate is not intended towards Chris Middleton. He is kind of collateral in this just because he is not better than Russell Westbrook, but the difference in this list was just so great between the two that everyone just decided, like, hey, we're going to go bully Chris Middleton today. No, like, go bully Bleacher Report because this is just terrible. I mean, and I'm pissed because they got what they wanted. They got the reaction. They got the generation of chatter on Twitter everywhere. And I'm pissed I'm giving it to them, but damn it needs to be talked about.
Well said, Jaden.
Yeah, listen, when you look at these lists, and Connor's 100% right, you have to take everything with a grain of salt because it is made to get a rise out of you. There's some things on there that I do agree, don't disagree with, but Joel Embiid being at 12 or 13, like, what the heck is that? Like, I understand that he's able to play at a high level when he's not injured, but he's injured. He gets hurt very often, and I just can't with him. I can't.
You always had to sneak in a Sixers diss. What would be an episode of Dribbling Around if Jaden or someone else on the show did not criticize the Philadelphia 76ers?
Way too high. Way too high.
Did you not catch the Ben Simmons diss I had?
I did, yeah.
I was going to say, like, are you going to – both guys can't shoot, but at least Westbrook, like, he's contributing more than just Simmons just dribbling around all the time.
Yeah, and I understand – I understand why they might have put him at that spot. Maybe they think that the reliance is too much on Harden with the Rockets. They might be looking at overall basketball. If they are looking at overall basketball, then you have to look at Westbrook. And Connor, 100% right, playing some of the best ball he's ever played. Might not show up on the stat sheet like it used to. But still, the Rockets team is very good, especially when they don't have a lot of height on the team and they're able to make stuff work. I love to see how they would go in the playoffs and how they're going to be able to fight with their lack of height. And we talked about it multiple times, saying they're not going to be able to win a 7-game set with no rebounding, everything like that. But still, you never know with this team because Westbrook is that good. Harden is that good. And the fact that he's not even remotely close to the top 10 is very saddening.
This Rockets team doesn't have a lack of height. It has a proficiency of shortness.
I like the way you think. Glass half full. Glass half full.
Yeah,
Quote that.
And also, I'd be terrified to play Houston in the first round, whoever I am, because I don't know if you saw it, but Westbrook's seen the list. And it's like he's gone on social media. He is going to murder rims.
Listen, did you see LeBron's social media posts, Instagram posts with like the underwater mask thing?
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
That
that's
was
scary.
coming out of
That's something
the
else.
chamber.
Getting out of the list, another diss, I thought. Donovan Mitchell at 32. I thought he should have been higher. Connor, we're not going into the Jazz.
32?
We're not. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell was at 32.
He was an all-star.
Exactly. That's what I thought. Donovan Mitchell was at 32. That was another diss, but Bleacher Report.
Maybe they saw the Jazz crumble and that.
Yeah, not too much. And Rudy Gobert was like way higher than that.
I hate on the Jazz all the time. Donovan Mitchell is
The only reason why that
easily
team's
a
good.
20 player this year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna switch out of that before all of our heads explode. Particularly Connor, who's having it out over there with Bleacher Report. The TBT semifinals. Boeheim's Army got knocked out in the quarters. Of course, there were 32 teams this year. Prizes $1 million this year instead of $2 million. Connor, yeah, you think that's funny? Boeheim's Army got knocked out. Not funny. They did play terrible though. But the final four teams in the semifinals, you have the Red Scare, which are Dayton alumni. Good for them. I mean, you got a lot of some Dayton guys that didn't get to play in the tournament this year, and they were a really good team. So they're on that team. The Golden Eagles alumni, they're playing them. The Marquette alumni, they've been in the semifinals the last 3 years. Then in the bottom half of the bracket, the 22 seed Sideline Cancer, Jamel Artis, Marcus Keene, they're a good team, kind of the Cinderella. And then the favorite, the 2 seed Overseas Elite, they got ISO Joe, who I mentioned earlier in the show, Joe Johnson, Pooh Jeter, another good player. A lot of overseas guys, no pun intended, but guys with professional experience that know how to ball. So I'm going to ask you, which one of those 4 teams do you think is going to pull out and take that $1 million prize in Columbus?
Sideline Cancer. Let's do it. Let's go all the way. I love the Cinderella story. They're making a great push. And honestly, I haven't been watching as much, but you always hear that story on SportsCenter. It's, Sideline Cancer does it again. So I would love to see them go all the way.
Listen, I'm all for Cinderella story, especially in college basketball, just because I don't really have a team. I just always love to watch the underdog pull off an upset. But I said Overseas Elite was my pick at the beginning, and I have to ride with them. So
when did you say that?
I think that glass slipper is getting broken, and Overseas Elite is going to win 2 more games.
When did you say that?
I said it like I know we talked about it a couple episodes ago.
Maybe. I'm going to look back. I don't think you said that. Maybe you just made it up.
I'm 100.
I'm accusing Connor of lying, but
Wow.
I'm also going to go with Overseas Elite. They're just uber talented, better than everyone else. They're patient on offense. I watched their quarterfinal game a couple days ago against that Marshall alumni. Great run for them, but just not as talented. Overseas Elite, they're patient with the ball. They share. Although Joe Johnson scored like 37, 39 points, it didn't look like he was hogging the ball. He passed the ball around. They play good on-ball defense. They get through screens well. And it's going to be tough in the semifinals against Sideline Cancer because they played great defense yesterday against Boeheim's Army, especially with ball screens. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Overseas Elite, and I think the Golden Eagles alumni are going to make the finals. They've made the semifinals the last 3 years, as I mentioned, and they're a tough team to beat. They got Darius Johnson-Odom, a few other guys that can really ball, and the TBT's really kind of that test bubble, I guess. I know the NBA players are in the bubble now, but it seems to be working out. I know Iberlin Drive was a team that's usually they got kicked out of the bubble because one of their players got COVID. So you hope for the best for both of those 4 teams, that they stay healthy, and we get to see some good basketball through the rest of the tournament. Finally, it was all over Twitter. All over Twitter the past few days. Hashtag free Woj. Adrian Wojnarowski suspended from ESPN for an email to a senator that was quite profane. But free Woj, what do you guys think? Free Woj, I know.
Free Woj, man.
It was pretty bad, though.
You got a free Woj. Come on, this is the biggest time in NBA.
Exactly.
Like, we need him more than ever.
It's not free agency, though, or the draft.
Shams right now is probably hyped
Shams
crazy.
Shams he's just seeing like a wide open alley. It's like it's Broadway open straight up for him. It's like if he doesn't overtake Woj, I don't know how long the suspension is lasting for, but
it's a suspension without pay too.
Once Woj comes back from his suspension, it is gonna that scene in that England bar where I forget what they're watching, but everyone just like they just start celebrating, like throwing their drinks everywhere. And like I've seen people put the Avengers like Endgame on it. I've seen just number of sports moments. As like someone's definitely gonna put that Woj tweet on the TV, and everyone's
Woj.
Listen, Woj is one of the most respected persons in ESPN because you dropped a Woj bomb and everybody knows, right? Because you look at a lot of other people in ESPN and you laugh at them a little bit. You look at the Stephen A, you look at the Max Kellerman, you laugh at them a little
Blasphemous.
bit because they're characters, right? Woj isn't like that. He's a strict journalist, and he made a mistake. But if we're all known in life for the worst mistake we ever made, we wouldn't be doing. It would be crazy. So
Woj isn't a businessman. He's a business.
Exactly. So listen, he makes one email, profanity. It happens. Things could be a lot worse in this world, Dane. Things could be a lot worse.
Get Woj bomb, like I will take a profane email if it means we get Woj bombs.
Okay, listen.
Trade-off.
Hopefully the suspension isn't that long because everyone loves Woj, especially during playoff time. But when he comes back, I think we can expect some revenge Woj coming at you. So
there's going to be some spice and
some hyper tweets. And then personally, ESPN needs Woj more than Woj needs ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
So, watch out, Fox about to make a big signing. Athletic, make a big signing. Coming soon.
Hopefully.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see Woj back on the Twitter market tweeting for ESPN fairly soon. That'll wrap up episode 7 of Dribbling Around. We really hope you like our interview with Grace Cannon. Again, special interview coming up as well. Have to tune in to Dribbling Around social media for that. Episode 8 coming up. We'll probably have another interview coming at you with that. Jaden Becker, Connor Glunt, Dane Richardson. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. As Jaden said earlier during the interview, give it a big fat like, comment, do whatever you like. Follow us. Follow our personal social media accounts. Big hearts, as Jaden would like to say. I don't even know. I'm completely rambling. We're off script most of the show. But make sure you tune in to Dribbling Around episode 8. I hope you like episode 7 again. Jaden Becker, Connor Glunt, Dane Richardson. Peace out.